13 moderate Democrats reject socialism on new Promise to America pledge, explicitly declaring we are capitalist, not socialist, and calling for secure borders, fiscal responsibility, and national pride. Yay. It's very embarrassing. It's uniparty shit. I think this was the late night meeting people. Was it? It does say 13. Are these the late night meeting people? Oh, here we go, yeah. Sozi, Adam Gray, Josh Gottheimer, no surprises there. Susie Lee, Don Davis, Gonzalez Jr., Gillen Bynum, McDonald Rivet, Goodlander, Gillen Woods, and Polito. Great. Got a couple of candidates in there too. Some vice signaling. And they talked about it to Fox and Friends? Jesus Christ. Whatever. Trump claims he'd be the greatest communist. Yeah, I know. He says a lot of shit. One thing at a time. They also said they'd be going to war against the progressives in the caucus. I note they never said this about Donald Trump or MAGA. Dem centrists are already plotting how to curb the left bloc's influence next Congress. You're going to see a group of moderates do exactly the same thing. We won't vote for X unless we get Y. There's going to be a war. Phenomenal. Centrists say they cannot allow their party to be dragged to the left without a fight. Clearly, there has to be organization, one centrist House Dem told Axios. You can't just wring your hands on this stuff. There's going to be a war, calling the incoming leftist members bomb throwers, not problem solvers. It's so fucking funny to say that when you're the one saying there's going to be a war. You're the one doing like a secret meeting saying you're preparing to fight against the candidates that have been elected. And you're like, no, these guys are the aggressors. You are the ones blowing up the Democratic Party. Wonder who these centrists they're quoting actually are. Well, we saw the names in the group right here. Some Democratic centrists are also floating, breaking a potential logjam by doing what their moderate GOP counterparts have done repeatedly under Speaker Mike Johnson, signing on to discharge petitions. The lawmaker argued that rather than fight the strategy, leadership should go along with it. Negotiating with these guys on the left never works out well because they'll never be satisfied. It's just so obvious how much they fucking hate their voters, man. The reason why, and I've noticed this too among liberals online, like globehead types, they never actually bother to talk to leftists. With very, very, very few exceptions, people who are actively, like, aggressively liberal online write off leftists and assume that there's no point in even engaging with them. They're more likely to say there's value in talking to the fucking right, as if, like, but, like, legitimately, and I'm being serious, if you think there's any comparison at all between the political, let's say realism or reachability of leftists versus MAGA, if you think there's any comparison whatsoever between those two groups in that way, you are mentally ill. I'm serious. You are as detached from reality as MAGA is. You are actually beneath consideration. I genuinely think you're cattle and you should not be allowed to vote. That is a level of derangement. That's a level of detachment from reality that exceeds my personal threshold for whether or not you should be enfranchised. The idea that people like Mamdani or Daria Liza or Ilhan Omar or whatever are like, these people by and large like talking. Mamdani talks to fucking everybody. He's extremely conciliatory. He's very willing to reach out across the aisle. He's gone to the White House multiple times. He talks to everybody. You can reach out to these people. The idea that they're comparable is ludicrous. I think the reason they say this is because liberals understand on some level that they can't win arguments against the left. People like this, these kinds of like centrist Democrats, are aware of the fact that they exist to fulfill the interests of the capital class and do not represent their constituents. So in any direct engagement, they will lose. It's the same reason why Hickenlooper won't debate Julie Gonzalez, like we talked to her just yesterday, right? The reason they won't debate is because Hickenlooper is aware of the fact that he's a fossil fuel industry toady who doesn't represent the people of Colorado, It's like he's aware of the fact he would look really bad in any direct debate. Just like how Mamdani crushed his debates, man. That's great, Lumpen Pearl, but we're not talking about that right now. You got to pay attention to these people when they tell you what they're like. I saw this tweet from Tom Malinowski, which is so fucking revealing. Nothing wrong with leaders on the left wanting to push the party leftward, but true courage in this moment on the left and the right is not taking on the establishment. That's easy. It's setting limits for your side and telling your followers what they don't want to hear. What a fucking insane thing to say. That in this era where every day we wake up to find that the wealthy have grown wealthier and our country is getting raped to death, that the real sign of courage for a Democratic politician is telling their voters to expect less. Insane. It's so insane that like it boggles the mind how a person who talks like this could ever get elected in the first place. But somehow they do. Somehow they do. They hate you so fucking much. It's insane how much they hate you. We're going to see a bunch of cynical responses from centrist Democrats on how to contain the left within the party. Remember that much like the Labour Party, they hated Corbyn more than they hated the Tories. Trust me, centrist Democrats hate us far more than they hate Republicans. Slotkin, who is a literal like CIA deep state agent, has suggested it might be time for Schumer and Jeffries to step aside. In my mind, this is the signal. This is the sign that the time has come for her to step up. Slotkin has been given an insane amount of prestige and visibility within the party despite being a junior senator. I think that this is the person they're going to pitch to replace Schumer as the House Minority Leader. It's perfect. She's been given the platform of responding to the State of the Union address. She's literally a CIA agent. She's a disingenuous, two-faced piece of shit who does whatever she's told to. But Schumer is clearly not succeeding in his job, which is to control the Democratic Party's constituency and make sure they don't vote too far left. You need new blood. Isn't she very dangerous? She's extremely dangerous, yes. Shapiro called the left performative after the wins. What the fuck does that even mean? Performative politics? They don't believe in politics, so they think politics is performative. They think the process of appealing to voters is performative. Dog, that's your job.
Democratic voters in New York chose 3 candidates backed by Zohran Mamdani, far left and Democratic Socialist candidates. What message do you take from that about where your party is?
Well, those were races in individual districts in a whole other state. I think you're seeing very different looking congressional races and certainly different Democratic candidates here in Pennsylvania. I think what is important are the people who are making a lot of noise, who are engaging in these performative politics, have to now figure out how to deliver results. It's one thing to speak in platitudes during a campaign. It's a whole other thing to actually deliver for people who are...
They never actually say what's performative.
...genuinely hurting, who genuinely need to see cost of living go down, meaning their ability to make ends meet, go up, fixing a broken healthcare system, reining in excesses, being able to, give people the promise of liberty that we've talked about. And I think we as a party need to find our way toward candidates who actually can deliver for people.
Establishment Dems are coping so hard over this. They will do everything in their power to destroy us and the Democratic Party. Remember that we are the will of the constituency. The constituency voted for Daria Liza. The constituency voted for Lander. The constituency is dissatisfied with the establishment, with the Democratic Party. This is a fact that's inarguable. They will fight against us harder than they have ever fought against Republicans.
Make their lives better. I think what our party has to go through that will be very healthy and something we've not really done since the 1992 election cycle is to have a battle over what we believe in, to have a battle over the ideas that we are going to hold on to and campaign on and then deliver on as a way to make people's lives better.
Like you've been doing, no doubt. Hold on, apparently Jeffries, God, look at this thumbnail, man. I can't, it feels like a bit. It's like a comic book character. I cannot believe he looks like this. Like, come on. Dagon worshiper. Man. Anyway, Jeffries issues reaction to Slotkin suggesting he and Schumer should step aside. Jeffries and Schumer don't want to be kicked out. They'll fight to their last breath for power.
There's a lot I want to talk to you about, but this vessel strike marks the first reported since the U.S. and Iran agreed last week to work toward a peace deal.
We'll talk about that in a bit.
In fact, it's been a disaster.
Mike Johnson and President Trump.
Led by Congresswoman Maxine Waters and Senator Elizabeth Warren, as well as not a hoax in the United States of America, notwithstanding what Donald Trump has said. I think one way or the other, this bill is going to become law.
Ourselves in a situation where we just...
Okay, here we go. Here's the Slotkin quote.
Responded to all that. I'm going to get your reaction, but listen to this.
We have literally found ourselves in a situation where we just don't have people who understand the moment and understand what leadership means.
When you talk about new leadership, well, Hakeem Jeffries is the Democratic leader in the House and Chuck Schumer is the Democratic leader in the Senate. When you talk about new leadership, that would mean they're out in favor of somebody else. Is that what you're saying?
Fucking retard. I can't believe people for a while were pitching this guy as some kind of new voice in Democratic politics when he's literally a Republican do-nothing who has no interest in politics outside of, like, distanced commentary. When you say that you're talking about new leadership, you're saying that means you're going to get rid of the old leadership? Fuck off.
I'm saying if people can't understand that the game has changed, I mean, this is you. You're the sports guy. If people can't understand that the game has fundamentally changed and they can't adapt, then they need to let others lead.
This is very revealing because when Slotkin here says the game, what she's referring to is not the dynamic between Democrats and Republicans. What she's referring to is the game that establishment Democrats play to crush the left. That's why she's saying this after the New York City elections. Notice she wasn't saying this after Harris lost to Trump. She wasn't saying this after the midterms in 2025. She's saying this now, right after a huge DSA win. The game she's referring to, she's essentially saying Jeffries and Schumer are not doing their job of containing the left in the party. She hates you. They will always hate you more than they hate Republicans.
So what do you say to Slotkin about that? Are you the right person to continue to lead the Democrats in the House? And if, in fact, the Democrats become the majority in the House, are you ready? You think you're likely to be elected Speaker?
Well, listen, what's in front of us right now is we got to do everything.
What do you think Slotkin would do differently? Slotkin is much smarter than Schumer or Jeffries. Schumer is ancient. All of his methods are outdated. He doesn't seem to realize nobody likes him. And also he's blinded by Jewish supremacy. He could have been much more strategic in navigating the post-October 7th political environment, but he couldn't because he is, a loyal servant of the state of Israel. Jeffries is just stupid. He's genuinely just like he's just a stupid person. He is bad at everything that he does. He was put there only because of patronage. He was a protege of Pelosi. Presumably Pelosi needed somebody who was sufficiently loyal to corporate interests, and she picked him. I'm assuming she wishes that he was smarter.
To take back control of the House of Representatives. That's actually the moment that we're in. And House Democrats have been very clear that we are going to continue to relentlessly focus on making our case to the American people, drive down the high cost of living, fix our broken healthcare system, and clean up corruption. I have no idea what Alyssa Slotkin was talking about there. Of course, any Democratic leader is going to continue to stand with their colleagues. And I'm proud of the effort that was
with their colleagues, not with their voters. Every word from them betrays how much they hate you. They despise you so fucking much. I don't think you were actually elected to stand by your colleagues, Jeffries. I think you were elected to represent the will of your voters in Congress.
Put in by both Congressman Adriano Espaillat as well as Congressman Dan Goldman, two members of the Congressional Progressive Caucus. At the same period of time, I think that what happens in a handful of primaries in one of the bluest cities.
See? They're not talking about Trump, man. They're talking about fighting us. See? He knows. But because he's stupid, so up until this point in this conversation, Slotkin and everyone for Slotkin and in this conversation with Wolf, nobody has acknowledged that what Slotkin is referring to is fighting against the left. But Jeffries is stupid, so he gives the game away right here. If he hadn't done that, low IQ and politically disenfranchised and disinterested individuals could have continued to pretend that what they're talking about is standing up to Trump. But they're not, which is exactly why they're so evil it defies description. Yeah, 100%. At least the Republicans, play the game properly,
in the country is not in any way indicative of what needs to happen in November, where we need to re-elect every single frontline member, common sense.
See? Re-elect. No primary challenges. That's the priority here. Re-elect. Not elect Democrats to fight Trump. Re-elect. That's the priority. Keep the patronage system. Don't get anyone new. Keep all the same people, the Zionists, the corporatists. Keep them in charge. Do not allow a single candidate to get primaried. That's the priority. That's what he's talking about right now. That's what the conversation is about. This is a Category 5 fire for establishment Democrats. It has nothing to do with fighting Republicans. They are fine with not fighting Republicans. What the hell, he's just saying it? Yep. Because he's stupid. Slotkin was speaking in code. He can't do that.
Democrats authentically committed to making life better for the American people, opposing these extreme Republicans who have been nothing but a reckless rubber stamp.
Too late, dog. You already said re-elect and reference the DSA wins. We already know what you're talking about. This has nothing to do with Republicans. The best thing we can do to fight Republicans is get new blood in the Democratic Party. You people have fucked up too many times. You've lost to Trump twice. You've lost the House. You've lost the Senate. You just keep losing and losing and losing and losing over and over and over and over and over again.
Donald Trump's agenda, and at the same period of time, make sure that we flip red seats blue, including in New York 17, where we have a combat veteran, incredibly patriotic American, Kate Conley, who came out of a primary.
They keep talking about this stupid bitch. She's like a 8-time veteran, #1 baby torturer down in Iraq or whatever. But he keeps insisting on this because he's trying to cater to the right-wing vote here. The idea that this is what's exciting the Democratic Party, a hardline veteran? Are you fucking kidding me?
On Tuesday as well, and is an incredibly strong candidate. She will defeat Mike Lawler in New York in November.
I hope she doesn't, just to spite this guy. Not like there's any difference between an establishment Democrat and a Republican being in charge anyway. Democrats love being out of power. They can let Republicans do all the shit they wanted to do anyway and shrug, like with the Iran war. Fucking Biden advisor being like, we were talking about doing this with Iran anyway. It's kind of nice to see Trump take the blame. Meanwhile, Schumer refuses to condemn the war itself, just say it was irresponsibly handled and that Trump didn't ask for permission beforehand. Fuck these people. Dems hate you more than life itself. They will do everything in their power to hurt you and ignore their voters. Do you think the Democrat Tea Party is finally beginning? Keep in mind, the Republicans eventually ceded to their Tea Party. The Democrats will not. Establishment Democrats will change parties before they cede to the DSA.